This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Living, the podcast. Today, we're going to dive into one of the hottest recreational activities around, axe throwing. I Googled it, and the very first thing that popped up was the site for Waco Axe Company, where I read this amazing description. If bowling, darts, and axes had a baby, it would be axe throwing. People will throw axes, either one-handed or two-handed, towards a target. They'll be awarded points based on where they land on the target. Pretty simple description. It's my pleasure to welcome to the podcast Thomas Ellis, owner of Waco Axe Company, and Will Craig, who's operation managers. It's great to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you
glad
for
to be
having
here.
us. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I have had a chance to do some axe throwing. I did a story a year ago when the Heart of Texas Fair actually happened, and the Lumberjack show was there. So I did a story for Central Texas Living, the TV show, and actually threw an axe. The first time was not too impressive, but I actually hit the target and did pretty well. I was pretty excited about it, and I loved it. And I can see why people have fun with this.
Yes. It's addicting.
Well,
we love it.
Very addicting.
And
yeah.
it's huge. I think that's what maybe people don't understand, just how many people are into this.
Yeah, it's a monster sport right now. It just aired on ESPN last weekend, the World Championship.
Okay, so we've got, is it like a professional level thing? People get paid to throw axes?
It's turning into a professional sport where people are sponsored and people go to these big competitions where they win bids to the World Championships and they win a lot of money.
Well, you know, it's funny. I really hadn't thought much about it or didn't know much of anything about it at all when I did that story back a year ago in the fall. But when I was doing the TV show that morning, I had two ladies on about a totally different subject. But one of them is one of these professional axe throwers. And I said, that's so ironic that you should be here. And she showed me, she had her axe in her car. And, these people are very, very serious about it. But I said, well, give me some tips on how. So I actually got a little coaching before I did the story, totally out of the blue. But, this isn't the only company in town that does this.
Correct. Yeah, it's a growing sport. There's a lot of companies popping up throughout every city. It's getting wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that get on your radar at all, Thomas?
Okay. So I was in the military, and my unit actually kind of started off in the French Indian Wars. So from then on, our unit just gravitated towards tomahawks and everything else. So even during field exercises in the 90s and early 2000s, whenever we were out in the field, someone brought a tomahawk. We were throwing at different, trees or whatever. We're just having fun. And then one day after I was out of the military, my wife and I were looking for something to do, and I took her on a date to an axe throwing venue, and we had a blast. She's actually an introvert, and when we got paired up with another, it was a bachelorette party, and I just hung my head. I was like, oh no, she's going to have a horrible time. But by the end of it, she was hanging over all the girls, telling them all, she was airing out some dirty laundry, and then just telling them, hey, be careful about this when you get married. But we had a blast. We had a fun time, and we said, hey, this is something that Waco needs, and we'd love to bring it to Waco.
Okay, so you opened this a year ago.
Yes,
a little more than a year ago, and this is the kind of thing that more popping up. But tell me first of all about your business. Where are you located?
Okay, we're at 1526 Washington Avenue, and then we were just. We originally were starting out, and during the build out, we were thinking, hey, this is a long process. So what could we do that just thinking outside the box? What can we do? And then in working with the city and the school system, we actually had a few high schools that were partnering together in a technical. A lot of the kids were kind of pursuing a technical degree instead of the normal, 4-year degree. So they were looking for another project to do, and they asked, hey, what can we do? And I asked them, can you build a mobile trailer for us? So we were able to get that built by the kids at several schools here in town, and they built that. We started going around and just like promoting axe throwing. And actually, that is how I met Will Craig. He was at one of our events, and he kept on coming back over and over and over, and he got really good.
I was addicted.
Okay.
I got really
so
addicted.
Tell me about your axe throwing career, if you would.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, like Thomas was saying, I started throwing at the Brotherwell Brewery. They had the trailer there, and I was actually reluctant to throw. I didn't really want to throw the first time, and my buddy, he's like, "You want to throw axes?" And I was like, "No, not really." And then and he's like, "Too bad, I already paid for you." And so I was like, "Okay, all right, sounds good." So I got up there, and first time that I stuck it, I was just hooked. And I came back. I came back every single week that they were there. I was like, all right. And then they finally said, all right, we're opening up our brick and mortar store. And so I ended up going there almost every day after work. And so I got pretty good. And so I enjoyed all the coaches and Thomas and the family. And so I was Thomas offered me the job, and I was like, all right, let's do this. I'm super excited. It's a fun side job for me, and I couldn't be happier.
So one-handed or two-handed?
Well, I started out with the two-hand, and then I quickly...
It's like over your head, and you're holding it. And,
yeah, exactly.
And let it fly.
Exactly. Let it sling steel.
Yeah.
So I was doing two-handed, then I switched to one-handed, and I've altered my throw. I don't know how many times, probably like close to 10 times, all the just little tweaks and things.
Really?
Yeah.
So you coach folks as well, I take it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of people come, never done that before, never thought about doing it before, kind of like you,
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that we love about it is, I mean, we're just engaged with the customers as they come in, and then not only just when they come in, but through the whole hour that they're there or 2 hours, and we're going through a whole bunch of different games and competitions, and just like it's a venue where you can go, and there's not too many venues where, I mean, you can really just have someone personally entertaining you or your group the whole time, and just kind of taking you through a whole just array of different fun things that you can do. And then towards the end, we always like end it with trick shots, and everyone loves to do that and just kind of have fun with it because, hey, you're throwing an axe.
Well, yeah, it is fun. And your Facebook page is a lot of fun. I went to that, and somebody put a GIF, however you say it, Dwight Schrute, saying, throwing an axe is not dangerous. Catching an axe, that might be dangerous.
Exactly.
So no catching of the axe. But let's talk a little bit more about the minutiae. I said we were going to dive into this. Mm-hmm. So, there's this particular kind of wood that the targets are made of?
Yeah. So we specially source our wood. We get poplar and then cottonwood. Those are the two that we use, and then we make sure that because if you use pine that's from Home Depot, it's typically a little bit treated, a little bit harder. The axe stick and the wood chips. So we have specially made 2-inch boards that are the true 2, and we soak them. We make sure that they're fully wet so that it kind of acts like a sponge. So when the axe goes in, the wood doesn't chip. It just kind of separates and moves to the side so that they last a little bit longer. It makes it a lot easier to stick.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We were all about the user experience. We just wanted people to have a good time, and we found when we first started, we tried out pine, and
it was no bueno.
People had a hard time sticking it in pine, and when they're coming to a venue like this, they want to have fun, and they're coming to stick. Yes. So we were like, hey, this is great and all, just having that pine wood, but we had to step it up. So we sourced some of the pine wood and the poplar out of Kentucky and then Iowa. We're getting it shipped in, and then we have it stored, we have it ready, and we prep the wood before the customers come in. So
these are single boards, or is it put together in a round target, or what does it look like?
Yeah, it's 5 boards. They're 4 feet, 4 feet by 2 inches and 2 by 10, and then 4 feet. And there's 5 of them. And then we have a template that we screw into the board, and then we do every single one of the targets.
And draw the target.
Yeah,
in.
make sure it's consistent across all the lanes so that everybody has the exact same experience.
So are they fresh every time you have a group, or how long do you reuse these targets?
They stay up for a couple of days,
Yeah.
and then we swap them out.
And that's the best part about the wood that we're getting. It's 4 times more expensive, but it lasts longer. And really, new boards don't stick really well.
They're harder to
like
stick.
They're hard to stick. They're fresh, and that's what a lot of people they see their board. It looks like there's it had some axe chips in it, and we're telling them, hey, it's actually perfect right now for you, as long as you can clearly see the target and the axe is sticking. Just a little bit of a used board produces the best stick for the thrower. And then what we do is we generally look at that. If it's not aesthetically pleasing to the eye and we know that it's it's time to change it, we change it quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
If we're good axe throwers, we're changing just the middle board because
there you go, because that's where you're sticking
what we're
right
aiming for.
right in the middle. Well, you've got women and men doing it. You have a girls' tees and
Yes,
and the guys' tee box.
Well,
not.
everybody
Really?
throws from the 12-foot line.
Okay.
So we're part of the World Axe Throwing League, and the standard length is 12 feet for hatchet throwing. When you start throwing the big axes, you go back to about 17 to 15 feet.
Now, you talk about a big axe. How is that? That's the length of the handle or the head as well? I mean, it's just bigger
Both are a little bit bigger.
Yes.
and
yeah.
heavier.
Yeah, it's like a fireman's axe kind of.
Oh my goodness!
It's a big boy. Yeah, they're fun to throw. You got to come by and do it.
yes.
I'm gonna have to.
All right.
I'm gonna have to try my hand at it again. But that whole overhead motion. I'm a tennis player, so I mean
Okay.
that
There we
part
go.
is just kind of a natural.
Yeah.
And I probably could do it one-handed if I thought about it.
Oh yeah,
But
big time.
anyway, well, so let's talk a little bit more about the whole professional thing, because you mentioned ESPN just had the national. So how do they go about whittling down who the best of the best is?
It's a double elimination bracket. And so they have the standard hatchet throwing. They also have the duels, and then they also have the
What do you
big
mean
axe.
duels?
So there's a duels competition where if Thomas and I were throwing at the target, we would be shoulder to shoulder, and we'd both be throwing for the bullseye at the same time.
At the same time.
Yes. And
Wow.
so it gets tricky, and it's actually kind of fun because sometimes you see some major carnage, like one axe is, sticking in the other one, or it just breaks off completely. And so you got to go find another one so you can throw it again. Duels is really fun, and if you find somebody that you're really in sync with, it's a really good time. So
Needs to be somebody about your same size and height and all that, or
About the same throw.
About the same throw.
So and you'll find people that throw just in sync with each other, and that's where you want to partner up with them, and really you've got your lefties and righties, and
Yeah,
people
right.
find that perfect partner where when you're throwing it just works.
Yeah.
Yes, so we love it, we enjoy it, and with what we do, since we're affiliated with the World Axe Throwing League, when we have our leagues and our competitions, when we're capturing the points for all the throwers, it goes into a big system that you're competing against everyone in the nation.
yeah, like a
in the
big
world.
database.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the world. And Will here is actually, during the last league, he was ranked 13th percentile in the world.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yes, it was pretty. It was awesome. Next goal is to break 10%.
So that was based on how many times you hit the center target.
Consistency,
Yeah.
high score. Correct. So it's pretty cool because once you go on to when you're in the leagues, we give you a login. So you get to go online and you get to see your scores.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, it's almost like the back of a baseball card where you see all the stats break down. And so it's awesome to see and then you can see your ranking and it's like, oh, the guy that's better than me, he's in Ireland, or the guy who's worse than me, he's in Romania or something. So you get
That
it's
is
really
fascinating.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something you started about a year ago. But it's not a bar because you don't serve alcohol. People can bring their own.
Correct. Right now it's BYOB, and here in the near future we're gonna go ahead. We're trying to get our TABC license, and
okay.
So we'll be able to. And really, since we're trying to just be a part of Waco and support the other local businesses. We're trying to team up with a lot of local breweries and then provide some of their tasty beverages to offer to our customers, as well as keeping it
and like Valley Mills vineyards. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Get some good wine out
Well,
there.
yeah, I think going local is always going to be a good thing. I think you were at Bear Arms Brewery. I think not too long ago.
Yes, we were with our trailer.
You were there and had Jill King on this podcast. In fact, talking about that whole business. But
She's great.
yeah, anytime you can support local business, that's a good thing. Now, of course, it's just a fun activity, date night, whatever. Take the what's the age child? I mean, you could take kids, right?
So we're for throwers, it's 13 ages 13 and up. But then we allow everyone to come in there. We love families to come in there, support the throwers, and cheer them on, cheer mom and dad on. We even have another target off to the side. It's a suction cup axe target, so the kids can throw suction cup axes along next to their mom or dad, so they can feel a part of that axe throwing community. So.
Yeah, they're all part of that. But also businesses are doing this for team building, kind of thing, like Waco escape rooms is the same type thing, because you can have just a group of people, maybe just colleagues at work. But so how do you think that works for team building?
For team building, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's like studies where they say that if you're, actually physically working with somebody, then you're going to have like a better bond with them. And so when we see these people come in, I mean, there's some people that are, maybe the shyer employee, and then they're the best axe thrower out of everybody. And so then they're all just kind of.
And then they go to work and they're like,
exactly.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. I can throw an axe.
Yeah. And I mean, and sometimes you see some macho guys come in and they're not the best axe throwers. So, it's fun to see that it's an even level playing field, so anybody can throw, anybody can stick it. It's phenomenal for the team building aspect. Yeah.
Okay, what's been the biggest surprise since you put all this in? Any big surprises in this kind of business, and or maybe good surprises, not necessarily bad surprises.
From surprises, I think the local support that we've had,
Huge.
because starting a business can be scary, but then especially during these COVID times. But we've had a lot of companies and people reach out to us, trying to help us out, trying to support us. I know we had we didn't have signage up yet, and even a company, Iron Willow, here in town, they were like, "Hey, we saw you don't have a sign yet," and they wanted to help us out there. With the sign outside, and there's other companies, local artists wanted to come and paint up our walls, do
Cool.
murals across our walls, which we loved.
Because it is kind of rustic. I mean, it's just
is. like
sort of like long stalls.
Sure.
And
We're throwing axes. It doesn't have to look glamorous.
that's
or
right.
anything.
Sawdust on the floor,
Right,
kind of thing.
Yes.
So
Well, it's great because I love talking to young entrepreneurs. You like I said, you had a career in the military, and came to Baylor. That's where you met your wife, right? Isn't that right, Thomas?
Yes. I met my wife on the crew team, on the rowing team, and we started a row relationship. And then after that, we
How long have you been working on that one?
Yeah, for a while now. But we got married while at Baylor, and then I went back in the military and did another 4 years, got out, and finally finished Baylor. And we've traveled around. I traveled overseas a lot with the company here in town, and then most recently I was over out in West Texas for a company here at Waco.
Yeah, it was Lipsitz, isn't it?
Lipsitz. Yeah, Lipsitz decided they wanted to start another company out in West Texas, so we laid down foundation, set up 4 walls, and started another Lipsitz out in West Texas. And we were there for about 5 years and decided, hey, we missed Waco, and it's time to get back here. What are we going to do? Let's throw axes.
Let's start a business, a fun business. What about yourself, Will? Tell me about your background.
Well, I was a musician out in California for quite some time, and after touring around for
what instrument? What are you?
I was a guitarist and singer, yeah. And so it was fun. And we had a blast, but I wasn't paying the bills. So I ended up coming out here to TSTC and got a cybersecurity degree. And so now I work at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance as my full time. And then this is my fun time. So, but yeah, it's fantastic. I'm so happy that I'm here in Waco, to be honest. It's way better than where I was at in California.
Well, we've had a lot of California imports on this podcast, and it's been delightful. And we welcome you to. How long ago?
Thank you. I've been in Texas for about 4 years
4
now.
years? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I've been in Waco for about 3.
Okay, very good,
yeah.
very good. So I know, Thomas, you got little kids, right?
Yes, we have three kids.
All right, and you married with kiddos?
I'm not.
Will?
I got my little dog. He's my baby. Yeah.
Well, ladies.
Yes. No, I've got my lady.
Oh,
I've got my lady.
okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
There we go.
Never mind about that. Well, this is really a lot of fun, and I was able to talk to Corey Dickman a couple of weeks ago, and he was quoted as saying, "In my eyes, success can be boiled down to an idea and timing." Do either of you have any advice for somebody that's thinking about starting a business, maybe?
I'm gonna let you take that one first.
Oh, well, just everything that I've done, I think you just have to have that drive and passion to pursue it, especially during the tough times, because I know as soon as we open our retail store in middle of March, we were
That's
closed.
what had happened. Yeah.
Yes, so we were open for about a month, and it just
grief.
crushed our dreams and everything else. It just went to a standstill. 3.5 months later, we finally got to open back up. But it's that just perseverance and just that drive to keep on going and push something, because we truly believe in how much fun and exciting this is, and we want to push that onto people of Waco and visitors coming into Waco, because I mean, it's just Waco's growing, and there's so much more for people to do now than there ever has been in the past. And we want to be a part of that. We want to provide just a fun experience. When people come in to Waco, we want them leaving going, that trip was awesome.
That was fun. Yeah.
Yes. And then also provide something for those that are in Waco, because even while I was out in West Texas, every time we'd come back, see some friends, we would go out, and there wasn't as much to do, and we love being another option for people to have when they want to do some kind of date night.
Well, we live in a world with our phones and everything. We're really more isolated than I think ever before.
Yeah.
And I see in axe throwing, which may just totally not be on anybody's radar. Maybe it is now, but it's kind of like a little community that you have, and folks can meet with a league and so forth. I'm a tennis player. I've got my tennis buddies that I've had for years, and it's just a separate part of my life, but a really important part, and I can see this same kind of thing happening with axe throwers.
It's huge. Yeah. I mean,
form those bonds and relationships. It's great.
You go out to there's Pump Jacks out in Tyler, and those guys are fantastic, by the way. And they, when we go in there, the first time that we go in for a tournament, they're just open arms. It was just unbelievable. And I mean, they reached out to you as well recently. So I mean, the whole community is really tight. I mean, right when I was getting into axe throwing, this is how tight it is. I was watching it on ESPN, and I saw axe thrower by the name of David Sycon, and he was throwing, and I really liked his axe, and I didn't know what it was. And so I told my girlfriend, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to message him on Facebook. She's like, don't do this. And so I ended up messaging him, and no joke, about 10, 15 minutes later, he this guy finished second in the Worlds, and
world champion.
Yeah.
Yes.
He messages me back, and he's like, hey, yeah, man, welcome to the community. And this is what I throw. And it was just unbelievable. I was like, this is crazy. Like, who does this?
I love it.
Yeah. So it's a very awesome community.
Oh, it's just amazing. It's so much fun to hear you guys talk about it. Well, we have a few minutes left. I'd like to end these visits with a questionnaire similar to the one the late, great James Lipton would use on his Inside the Actor Studio. And start with Thomas. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word would be I think passion. We were just talking about that. I think my favorite word would be passion, because I mean, if you're passionate about certain things, I mean, you are focused on it, you are driven by it, and I just anything and everything that you set your heart and mind to, and you're passionate about, whether it be in a sport like axe throwing, or with your family, with work. I mean, it really, if you're passionate about something, it propels you to achieve sometimes the unimaginable. And we want, I want that for my kids. I want that for friends, family, and just I love people that, and I'm drawn to people that are passionate about certain things. So.
Sure. Hey, Will, I'm going to ask you the second question. What is your least favorite word?
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been thinking,
I know.
my favorite
I was
word?
sitting here the whole time. I was
got
like,
us,
oh,
you
gosh,
got us.
dang it. She's all right.
She's good. She's good.
No, that was
See,
good.
I kind
That's
of
solid.
threw that one
I
at
liked
you,
it.
yeah.
I like it.
Did that hit on target?
That hit on target. That hit on target. I think maybe like complacency. Like, you know, when you're sitting and you're complacent and you're, you know, this is fine. I'm good with, you know, how this is. I think that you're giving up in a sense. And I think that you should always kind of seek a little bit of discomfort so that you're, you know, growing, always making yourself a little bit better. So I think probably complacency.
Yeah, kind of the opposite of passion.
Sure.
Really.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with you now, Will.
Okay.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
It'd probably be, you know, relationships, you know, with people, you know, if you've, be it writing a song, you know, a relationship with a person, or, you know, a relationship with, like, you know, meeting Thomas, and like, we've got this great friendship now. I think that, you know, that's one of I love it. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So Thomas, what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Just the lack of drive. I know that I thrive on other people's excitement. So when I'm in an environment where there's people super excited about doing things, I am just passionate. I'm driven to do stuff. But like when people just don't have that that spark,
Kind of
to
the
do
fire
stuff.
in the belly.
Oh
in a
yes.
way, you
So
know?
so I love it, and I love, like, it's just like people in the city, like Winston at Waco Rage Room. We were trying to partner with them, and they're he's very passionate about getting out there to people in Waco and just like add that extra form of entertainment, and that drives me to go, okay, what else can we do here in Waco to just like add that you know, give everyone the best experience that they can here out in Waco.
Cool. So Thomas, I'm going to ask you the next question.
Sure.
What sound do you love the most?
Nature.
Yeah.
I love nature. It's just calming. Even in the military, with, you know, with things going on, and just a lot of movement, when you can, like, especially being anywhere in the world, you can just like close your eyes and just like it'll take you away from any of your troubles. But then and it just kind of puts you at peace. And I love just the sound of nature, and just like the wind, just and just like, you know, nice mornings, nice evenings, and just it relaxes me, calms me.
Okay. All right, Will, what's your least favorite sound?
Oh man, I'd probably have to say, you know, I'm gonna say nails on a chalkboard.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
right off the bat. There it is.
That's a good one too.
That works. Okay, what other profession would you want to try, Will, that you're not doing right now?
Man, I tried the music thing. Didn't work out totally. Yeah, you know, it was fun for a while.
But you're always going to be a musician.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You always
It's
have
always
your
got this.
music.
Yeah. And the profession side, I'd like to see if maybe I can get into like VR technology. I recently got one, and it is awesome. So,
And I don't even know what you're talking about.
it'd be like developing like games.
Oh, okay.
Like video games. Yeah.
All right, what about you?
That I would want to do
That
professionally.
you're- I mean, you've been a professional military man. And,
Yeah. So from profession standpoint, I love helping people. So, I'd love to. I had a little taste of working with a medical device company here in town, but what I would love to do is work in the medical side, medical field, just helping people out. I pursued a master's in hospital administration. I felt like it was just kind of a thing that would draw me to helping others, find relief both spiritually, physically, mentally, and maybe even be able to give back, especially to our veterans that are still, coming back and adjusting to different norms that they might not have been used to, like in the military, and then just transitioning into the civilian sector.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I know you do a lot of things at the company, at Waco Acts Company for vets, right?
Yes, we try to do that, and we have several vets within our organization that we support in many different ways, but we try to reach out and help out other organizations like Irreverent Warrior and then the Veterans One Stop, and we are always open to help out some more other companies and organizations that help out those vets.
Good work there. Okay, finally, I'll start with Will. What do you want to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You did good, kid.
Okay.
I'd be happy with that one.
Okay, yeah. And you?
Well done, my good and faithful servant. So,
very good.
Yes.
Well, you're doing all the good at Waco Acts Company. Again, the location is?
It's 1526 Washington Avenue.
And your hours, or what? We didn't talk about how much it costs or anything.
Well, so right now it's $20 an hour per thrower, but again, we love
pretty cheap entertainment.
Well, cheap entertainment, but we love to support other local businesses. So as right now, like if you wear a local business shirt and you come in, we are going to give you 10% off in support of the other local businesses that you're supporting. So
cool.
We'd love to encourage that. And yes, so our hours are 5 to 10 Tuesday through Thursday, and then Friday we have 5 till midnight, and then Saturday it's 11 a.m. till midnight, and then Sundays it is 1 p.m. till 6 p.m.
Very good. Okay, and your Facebook page is right there, Waco Acts Company, and website, any other information anybody wants to get.
Yeah. Yes, sure. Yeah, if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, that's going to be where we update it the most. And follow us for specials and different events, because we're planning on doing some fun stuff in the next couple months.
Well, you're doing all the good with this, and I appreciate you both, Will Craig and Thomas Ellis. Thank you both so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. So you may be asking yourself, why am I here? I'm here to be your tour guide through Waco. I'm here to tell you all the goings-on in and around Waco. I'm going to give you the 411 on what's happening, what's going on, and what events you should go to. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
You are going on a run.
Are you building a new business while managing a family? Are you tired of trying to balance home and work and everything seems to be coming up short? Then there's a podcast made just for you. Baking Your Business from Scratch is where we create the perfect recipe for building a successful business while managing your home and family with love. Come join us and see for yourself.
This has been Rogue Media Network Podcast.